In the first round, both fighters shook out the nerves. Hugo, at his best, was all about timing and precision. He was a counter-puncher, the best I've ever seen. He'd make the other guy commit to a course of attack, then he'd slip the incoming punches and exploit the openings. But against Juan Domingo, on my screen 2 decades later, in Aurelia's living room that fine August day, in my memories forever, his timing was all off. The Spaniard came into the ring on trembling legs, a fact that Frank had smugly pointed out to me at ringside, saying, "He's all ours." In the first round, he was throwing punches that fell far short of Hugo, but every time the kid would try to step inside Juan Domingo, he'd miss. With about a minute to go in the first round, Ascension dangled a left jab out there, and Hugo came hard with an overhand right that had a bit too much on it, and Hugo damn near tumbled through the ropes. It's an embarrassing moment. If you watch the clip, you can hear the catcalls from the partisan Spanish crowd. But Hugo had learned something important. "There it is," Hugo said in Aurelia's front room. "See how he lets his right drop below his chin as he throws that left? I saw that, and I knew he'd do it again." At the commercial break, Frank turned to him and said, "Do you remember what I was saying to you?" "Huh?" "It's between the first and second round. Do you remember what I said?" "Yeah, something about slowing down." "That's it. Slow down and take 'em. That's what I said. It was all ours. You can see that. He was right there for the taking." They looked at each other, and then they looked at me, and I could see that this was how our shared experience would be. We were identical images of stomach sickness. It's unseemly, perhaps, to complain about your lot when you're an Olympic silver medalist. But Frank and Hugo knew something, and as the chronicler of their deeds, I was privy to it. The things the kid had done to get ready for that moment, the solitary miles and the time on the bag and the gut busters and all the rest. A loss under any circumstance is unsatisfying. To lose the way Hugo did that day in Barcelona. It's now been nearly half my life, and I don't think I've ever found the words. At the start of the second round, Hugo was off the stool and across the ring before Juan Domingo left his corner. The Ugandan ref pushed him back, and the Barcelonans again grumbled their discontent. It was no matter. Hugo had gone into the zone, that place where, as he described it to me later, the noise stops and the clarity begins, and every target, Juan Domingo's nose and forehead and chin and liver and gut, looked 3 times bigger than it was. Hugo had him lined up for the fall, and as we watched Juan Domingo's eyes on Aurelia's ancient zenith, we could see it. As I watched in my living room, alone, all these years later, I could see it. Juan Domingo threw a left hand, a little sharper than before, but nothing Hugo didn't see coming. Hugo gave a little deke left and dug a short hook into the Spaniard's ribcage. It's the punch I've always considered the most crucial, aside from the infamous one. Juan Domingo's spittle flew halfway across the mat. That's the moment he knew he couldn't win, I think. Next came the hunt. Juan Domingo got on his bicycle and started moving. Back, left, left. Hugo came forward, a shark. It was all pressure now, all closing the distance and figuring out the trajectories. Hugo's right hand batted down another weak left from Juan Domingo, while the kid's left popped Ascension in the nose. Off balance, Juan Domingo threw an awkward right hand that whiffed, and Hugo brought 2 quick hooks, one to the ribs and one that glanced off the top of the head. An inch or 2 down on the temple, and it would have been over. When Juan Domingo danced away from that danger, Hugo committed his one truly stupid error of the entire tournament, a fact he lamented to me off and on in the years that followed. He got anxious because he knew he'd taken Ascension's will. "It's something you can feel," Hugo told me once.